explanation has to do with the 4 M's of populism. One is the message, both the policy style that's us versus them, an anti-liberal democracy in the relationship between the leader and the people. 2 is messenger, charismatic leader, authenticity, but it's also about the anti-system networks that spread the messages from the messenger. Beyond that, it's the medium. It's both the social media that populists of the extremes on the right and the left use best, but it's also the traditional media that amplifies the message. So you got the echo chambers of social media, but beyond that you get the amplification in what is an increasingly polarized media landscape. And finally there's the milieu. It's the socioeconomics of people feeling left behind. It's the sociocultural of loss of status and fears of the changing faces of the nation. And it's political. It's about take back control. It's about anti-globalization. It's about feelings that you can't trust the politicians at all. There's no question. You see it first in the United States, where I'm really concerned that you may have the end of American democracy as we know it. It looks like an authoritarian drift. It depends upon whether Trump will be stopped in any way, but we're not seeing it with the Republicans, and this is the danger of authoritarian drifts forever. But beyond that, it's not just in the US, in Europe as well. There are reasons for it, though, and it's important to note. The messages resonate. These messengers are channeling the anger that people feel, the alienation, and this actually has to do with something else, which is neoliberalism gone too far, with people feeling that the elites have simply benefited themselves and not them, and that is why what you get is messengers who manage to use that anger to fuel their own rise. But once in power then, they don't necessarily work for the people. They work for themselves, for a new kind of elites, but as such, they erode democracy in so many different ways. This is perhaps the end of US hegemony, but also US democracy. And with it, we have to ask what happens to the rest of the world. Bad. As Trump would say, bad things. But the relationship is eroding. The tariffs have certainly destroyed a sense of trust that certainly the Europeans felt, but you can see this around the rest of the world. And the question for the Europeans is, how do they respond? And now all of the things that the US brought to Europe in terms of a liberal democratic order are now being eroded by the US. So where that ends, we don't know, but we also see in Europe, in the EU, a tremendous rise in particular extreme right populism, with also an authoritarian drift in some countries. The big question is, what will the example of the US do? Will it empower the extreme right in Europe to go in a Trump direction? Or will people be so distraught, dismayed, and disgusted that you'll see actually a pullback from the extremes? But this is a question for the political elites and for the people to decide.